Hey, Phil, let's introduce you to people so that people kind of know they know that we get along. They can figure that out just from talking, but kind of just get a little bit of your backstory. As we somewhat already kind of did in summary, but you and I met originally. You were at Big Star in the LA office, and then I want to say like you took off from there. You didn't start too fresh right away, right? You jumped over to another
No.
place first.
No, I went to Murata Motion Theory for about 3 years and worked on like films and commercials and music videos. And then from there, like basically, I mean, I went to some other shops, but like then went to Big Block for about a year or so, and then was at BNS, the Mill, and some other miscellaneous places along the way. And then went to work at State for about a year, and then started basically right after I left there. And like honestly, the whole thing started because I was just exhausted and I just wanted to make explainer videos on my couch. That was how it all started. And yeah, it didn't really work out that way, but
Love it. You're like, I just kind of want to chill. All this hard pressure. I just want to do explainer videos, sit on my couch and do
it,
what I need to do. Yeah.
it kind of a lot of things happened just by accident. Like I Adidas and Snapchat found some stuff on Instagram, and then they hired me to do two things for them based on these Instagram posts. So then I hired a couple people to help, and we made some cool projects, and then those rolled into more and then more, and it was just kind of like a fluid thing.
Yeah, that's so brilliant. There's a part of there's like jumping into entrepreneurship that even if you had made plans, you know those would never happen anyway, right? Like you what we fall in love with, what pushes us over the edge to make us get into it is just naivete thinking I can make that happen. And then the world kind of like shows up at your doorstep and you have to make real choices. And that's where the pressure really begins.
Yeah. I mean, my plan was obviously not the way that it's laid out now for the company, but I think just having good basic skills of talking to people, hearing people, and being prepared to work on cool stuff, and knowing that you never have, I think generally most projects we never have all the answers. So being comfortable being uncomfortable
Oh,
is
yeah.
usually like, yeah, really important.
I had someone ask me one time, she was talking to me about just the pressure of entrepreneurship. And she says, "Hey, I always just feel like I'm drowning. When will I ever stop feeling that way?" And I said, "No, no, you'll always feel that way. You just become comfortable with the feeling of being of drowning. It's just the way the world works." Sorry. Um,
I totally believe that.
yeah, which is why you have to hang out in Cabo and work.
This is so yeah, some fresh air versus LA.
Okay, so let's talk about Two Fresh because specifically what you guys are really known for nowadays is being in sports. So you guys are heavy into sports. I think you told me recently that you brand two networks or something like that? Like you've
Yeah.
really like this is the language you speak now.
Yeah, we did the Netflix Christmas game, and they'd only done one like live event, was that the boxing event. I forgot who was fighting. It was last year in like November. So we really helped them to like develop this sports brand and help them understand what things are, what how things work. And we partnered with somebody else to help with the insert stuff. But then from there, Google had hit us up to do the YouTube game in Brazil. That was in was the first game of the season. It was like August, September, whatever. But that was like all they came to us. They said, "Hey, we don't know anything. Can you guys tell us what to do?" And it was just like taking a level up in our expertise, which was, it was just so cool because you get this respect and they listen to you, and we really just led them into the right direction, and that was from the ground up. It was just special because like you can rebrand like an NFL package for NFL Network or CBS, but all the ingredients are there. You just skin it and rinse, repeat. But like for YouTube, it's really like building the system from zero, which is so special because it's not somebody did that for CBS Sports, but that would have been, gosh, I don't even know how long ago, like
Sure.
tens, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, right. And to pick up the pieces. So that's kind of a fun moment for you, where because you've niched down, you've been in as this in the sports segment basically, but to be seen as the expert in the field, where someone's launching a network to the level of YouTube, and they're like, "Hey, can you actually be our guide? You're the expert," and kind of flip it, and they're going to follow your lead. They know only from what you're telling them, putting yourself in that position. That's a badge of honor to yourself to that level.
I would definitely call that one a badge. It just feels good to have people recognize that you know what you're doing, which a
Yep.
lot of times I feel like we're all doing things, and while we can get things done, we're always feeling like there's more to do, you know? Whereas there's a finite end there that they see, like, we're done. We made it. We have all the pieces. And it's funny because at the end, they're like, is it going to cost this much next time we do this? Like, no, no, you have all the pieces. Now we just get to kind of like have fun in the sand and add things if you
You
want.
should
Like,
have been like, "No, it cost you
oh,
twice as much the
yeah,
second time
yeah,
around."
exactly. That's why we have producers, and
Yeah,
I'll
right.
do something for $800. It's fine.
Just because you love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. How did you like choose sports? Was that just natively comes at you? You knew you wanted to do it.
Um, no, I mean I love sports. I've never been like a super fanatic, I'd say. But on our like journey through these like figuring out where Too Fresh is gonna go, we were in entertainment for a bit. We did like a Steph Curry golf golf games thing. I forgot the name of it. But it was like an entertainment meets sports. And we're like, oh, this is fun. And then we had NBC had hit us up to do like one Copa America for 2017, I think. That was 17, 18, somewhere in there. And that's kind of like our first big sports project. And from there, I think a lot of people started to see this like how well we were doing it. And on top of that, just having a good group of, I'd say like friends who know a lot of people, like it was just the right time, right place. Like a lot of our artists are just also really good at sports, and they would get hit up directly by a network to say, "Hey, can you guys do this whole package?" And it's like, "Hey, I'm a single guy. I don't have a team." And they're like, "Oh, well, can you hook us up with a team?" And then they would just give our information. So
Wow.
just from having a network of people you like to hang around with and you're good friends with, or you work well together with, like they all help to grow. So I mean, I have a special love for everyone that like works with us, and because it's really because of them that we're so successful. Because I mean, I wasn't even the creative director before I started this company. I had to figure out how to do it right, and not be like an asshole or all these things.
You could try.
But like the big moment was like during the pandemic. We had right before the pandemic, we had built a graphics package for a hockey team, no, a hockey network in Canada and TSN. And so we had finished that project like 2 weeks after the pandemic had hit, and we released it. And I did hear from a lot of these networks like that was the only montage for sports like rebrand that anyone had seen in a long time. So it kept getting moved around, and it was like, "Have you seen this? Have you seen this?" Like, but everyone else is like kind of pausing on work. So it was like a really good right moment, right time, because right after that we rebranded Monday Night Football, and then we did the Super Bowl, and then we did all of CBS Sports. So it really led to that.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So 2020 was like when we really did a lot of sports stuff, and then it hasn't really stopped.
But you guys, is it safe to say like you guys now primarily just do sports? Like you've kind of chosen like this is our lane, it's working for us, we're sticking with it.
We definitely focus on it. But I think we don't want to we try not to keep all of our eggs in that basket if we can't. We do a lot of gaming. Everything kind of gets trumped by the sports because we just release so many sports things. But about once or twice a year, we'll do a gaming trailer with Crafton, so with PUBG. So like we just released it's a Porsche collaboration with them. So we also did one with McLaren, but that's just more like, and it's fun because I don't everyone gets a little bit of bored of doing the same thing all the time. So like we have some of these fun like extra little projects to feed our artists. But it is like when you say sports, you think sports like graphics packages, but like we'll get a knocked on the door and it'll be like, oh hey, we have this really cool like water product. Like, oh cool, water, like a canned like product shoot or something. It's like, oh, but it's sports themed.
Yeah,
So
right.
every it doesn't matter what it is. Like, oh, it's something with Nike. It's like, oh, it's related to football or we, it's always like whatever. It's something random comes in the door. It's always like something tied to sports because somebody sees that.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
funny.
that's not bad, right? To be known for something and then be called out. So yeah, sure, it's a product, but it's an athlete's product. But
I
in
think
a way, like you're almost establishing the language of the field, and you're the one, who's kind of owning it. It makes sense that people want to repeat that success.
it's so big and bold, and I think that it just naturally sports graphics feel fun to look at, and it's not like long format stuff. You see one thing, you're like, oh, that was cool. Um, yeah, I mean, we just did our first feature film, which was a 13-month project. And we did all the graphics in the film, and it was all because they liked sports graphics, and it was a really cool experience. So hopefully we get to do more of that. But of course, it's like very sports graphic esque.
Right. Yeah. Do you do you ever feel like, oh crap, I better start getting into fashion brands or auto or get anywhere because if I stick in this one lane too much, I'm gonna eventually get pushed out.
I don't, yeah, I think that way sometimes. I think I've become friends with some of the older studios in sports that are kind of like household names with Fox and they pick up Amazon and they've been doing it for years and years and years. I think some of these sports divisions at these big networks, they're pretty loyal. It's a different kind of working with them feels different than working with the entertainment side versus working with an agency versus working directly with a client. They're just kind of chill. I don't know how to describe it. Like uh it's just it's a fun working environment with I mean any of these networks that we've worked with. So I think that that's been like a major plus. And the loyalty, I think they like working with you. They generally kind of keep you around for something.
Yeah, I wonder if it feels chill because like you've hit critical mass in that industry. So you kind of know most of the players and most of the players know you in the field. And then you're kind of dedicating yourself to it. You're not being distracted. You're recognizing the value of certain people. So it's easier to kind of call you repeat success because you're not being distracted by making the latest superhero film or trying to get some random video shoot in Kansas done at the same time. You're like, no, this is a thing I do. And there's a familiarity and kind of plays itself out that way. I'll just say, like, I've seen that with other studios where once they kind of niche down and they know who that is, it could be, us at Imaginary Forces, we knew most of the major directors. It was easier to kind of keep it going within that field. I can imagine sports. It's not the largest segment of graphic in need. There's we could probably name most of the networks, the heavier networks. So once they know you and you know them, it probably,
That's probably true. Yeah.
yeah. Do you are you are you kind of like recognizing that sports is growing? I put in the promo just how different where network television, where most people used to watch sports, is totally in major decline. But in the case of sports is actually growing. So are you feeling that trend yourself and thinking, holy crap, Tim, there are bigger doors opening day by day in this growing field?
Yeah, I am. I think because like what you said, there was really kind of like TNT, CBS, ESPN, NBC. These are
Awesome.
like the main players, and now we have Netflix, we have Amazon. Yahoo did some games back in the day. YouTube. Everyone's kind of getting in on it, and like these deals where NBA was going to only be on TNT, it's like splitting, right? So you guys saw NBC just launched their NBA package because they got NBA. Like everyone, these things are moving around. NASCAR has been moving around a lot. And we helped CW with all their sports broadcasts too. We did their college football, we did their NASCAR package, we did their college basketball. So they're in the game too now. And I think as these networks pick up and lose these entities, they have to make a new graphics package for that. So it's just creating more work.
Yeah.
And also in like teams specifically, there was Bally Sports, which is like they ate up like a lot of regional NBC, and then they went under. And then like what's happening is these regional sports like Houston, Washington, these areas are in Dallas, they're picking up the local network, branding it, and having their own mini network. So we've done that for a few teams as well. So it's just it. I feel like it's just kind of
So
blowing up, like you said.
yeah, isn't aren't DraftKings buying up some of them too? And DraftKings is obviously, or gambling itself is just pushing viewership to a totally different level than before.
I think so, but the gambling stuff is leans towards sports too. So it's like, we were talking to some international gambling companies about helping with their stuff, and it's always like sports betting um and that yeah, the whole gambling thing is just a whole nother realm that's gonna add more work for this and other, other people. But
This is going to sound kind of funny, but and maybe a little naive, but are you feeling like sports is kind of AI proof also? Because it's a sporting event is we don't know the outcome. It's people clashing and banging into each other to kind of make the sport happen. And so there's like an edge that you can't visual effects it pre-build things and that kind of stuff for that.
not yeah, I mean, well, obviously the live event itself, but the graphics packages, the way that they're like the pipeline is to build them, I'm not sure. I haven't thought too much about it, but the pipeline would be like we would build something, create the look and feel toolkits, and then there's like Chiron and VizRT that then has to re-input it for the live event. Like I feel like somewhere in that pipeline would have to be ready to use AI, and a lot of these systems are so old school um, that are being used for, live production, like in the trucks. It feels very far, in my opinion,
Yeah.
to change that system. I think the AI is really just for ideation. I see people using it in at least with sports stuff, but we haven't really been doing any like, here's a character running down with a football, kind of thing. I mean, everyone's experimenting so that we're not like, I mean, you should just experiment at least to see what's going on. But
Yeah, I can see where the generative piece of it, right? Where the content itself, it running a query, it building some kind of protocol, it, I don't know, doing a replay. Imagine like doing a replay with AI generative pieces where you can now cover certain angles because you have data from the field and you can replicate it in some interesting way. It feels like a fun experiment where you are just diving into what's really important in sports is taking information necessary and then giving it to the viewer so it makes sense to them, and kind of jumping into a field where like you can take that to a new level would be kind of a great new language to kind of learn and understand.
you've seen the ESPN broadcast where they'll do like Simpsons or Toy Story.
Oh
And
yeah.
they're using obviously AI, but it's the chips in the field and the way the directional movement like keeps the characters moving forward and stuff. Like at that point, it's like almost a tool, less of like a artistic thing because you still have building all the characters for this thing.
Yeah, I'd want to say like a Nickelodeon games where they slime when they hit the end zone and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is really just trying to get kids addicted to sports. It used to be now with sports we
Uh,
get them a gambling simulator so that fifth graders can gamble on DraftKings. That's what we're really trying to push.
it is
You're part
cool
of
though.
the problem, Phil. That's what I'm saying. That's
I
what.
I like that they're trying new things though, but yeah, it is
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I the what's really amazing, kind of sitting on the outside of of our industry and areas that people seem to be pursuing more and more. The sports language seems to come up so much more often than I've ever really remember. It was a secondary class in a way because it was only seen in game during an event and was somewhat repetitive. And recently, gosh, Ryan, I remember, was that 2 years ago, 3 years ago? You actually called out some Gillette commercial
Yeah.
about like, wow, the technology of sports graphics allows for all this brand new interactive in-game
Hmm.
entertainment.
Yeah. And it's getting even more and more crazy. Like that's the part where the AI could be interesting for like what we do is that they're almost to the point now where they can do live Gaussian splat captures of like volumetric captures of the game and be able to do instant replays where you can choose where you want your camera angle to be to the point where it almost will be live. Like that's probably 2 or 3 years from now. But the amount of like advertising slots that will be available when you can be like, I want this seat for this game watching here, and the things change, but they change different based on whoever's watching from which seat, and then the takeovers. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous. And
Yeah,
that was 3 years ago.
yeah.
The AR stuff for, I mean, I guess with the AI and AR for sports, like the Gillette thing you're talking about, that's the one where it like came out of the stadium and it was forgot the name of the company. They do all AR now. But anyways, yeah, no, that I think there'll probably be AI related stuff with that. And especially the a famous group. Thanks. Thanks, Dave. Uh we're for the Netflix stuff we're doing like we're using like these drones for it and they have this satellite capable. It's really cool. Like I think there's AI built into that, but then doing the AR from the drone for live event. I mean there's yeah, I don't know. But for us, we don't really do any of that. It's more of like the design. We build like the structure and see what it could look like. And then we hand it to like people who can really simplify, get it ready for like Unreal and all that.
Dave, you're floating in sports only too, right? You've kind of niched to sports as a segment for your guys.
Yeah, we've niched down into primarily stadium graphics, so sports stadium graphics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
cool.
are you seeing kind of the same play where more and more people are, I'll just say like speaking the sports language? I don't know how to say it, but I feel like the sports language, that interactive, immediate kind of feedback, information based thing kind of playing itself out on different platforms and being used for different reasons.
Yeah, seeing a lot more talk of that, although it's weird, well, not weird, but it depends who's talking about it. So, like, you've got like network engineers talking about the technology possibilities, and then you've got, say, sort of Phil talking about like the creative side. And I feel in Australia there is a little bit of a divide between the creative side, making things look amazing, versus what is technologically possible. And I think if you were to able to get those two people in the room, then I think that's where some really cool stuff would happen.
Yeah.
I feel like the creatives though are afraid of those guys. So that's why they haven't been
Yeah,
talking. Likely, I don't
yeah,
know.
What do you mean afraid? Just like afraid to understand it or afraid
Well,
it takes
I
away?
think I just always hear about the job safety thing. I think that's the biggest, and it's a real concern. I mean, I did a talk in New York about AI at a sports conference, and originally it's like NBC, ESPN, a bunch of these networks were going to join, and then slowly they all were like, we can't be part of this. And then it was just me. I was like, don't record this. Like now I'm worried. Uh, but I think you got to be aware of it because it's not going away.
Yeah. I not only is it not going away, I honestly feel like it's at the forefront of what is about to take place. There is a realistic piece that because it's a live event, especially at some of the higher levels, a Super Bowl game or whatever, that it can't glitch. So you're kind of meeting certain creative and technical protocols. But you're getting we don't know what the data is going to be until we need it kind of moment, and then feeds through a system and pushes itself out. That seems like obviously generative art is going to take on that piece, that characteristic in that same way. why wouldn't you want to lean into it? I feel like you could solve problems sooner than other people because you've been understanding it for years.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like sports, weather, and politics, all kind of like it's all almost the same problem, just like data coming in, and you have to kind of stay on top of it as it happens. Maybe news has a little bit of that element.
I like to stay in the make pretty pictures zone if possible.
Yeah,
Uh,
I kind of don't blame you.
yeah.
It's just an interesting trend. Like if you're um, you know, jumping into anywhere that you're going to niche down, you're going to have to start recognizing the cutting edge of what's happening.
Yeah.
And I think it's the benefit to your benefit because you're not focusing on so many different fronts. You're seeing something and you can more easily pick up the pattern. And again, it seems like you've developed a trust with your clients. They'll give
There's
you these opportunities.
And I mean, I always keep my eyes peeled on like who else is doing sports. And I mean, there's a lot of other studios that have their niche style in sports too. So it's like already been shoot. I'm sure you guys have seen, they make amazing work. They do their sports graphics packages have like an already been chewed look. Like it just looks badass. Like, but like I don't know that YouTube would say, oh, okay, I would go with them because they have kind of like their look. It's like this elevated, like very polished, like less like the YouTube branding, it's more like flat and 2D. Like I don't so I mean we try to stay broad in sports. So we're like, well, so I think sports is I know you said it's kind of like it feels a smaller niche. It does feel like there's a lot of ways to take it. It's almost like you could do a commercial in 3D, you could do it in 2D, you could have a mix. It's like all those same options are still in sports.
Yeah, it's again like my feeling is like it feels like it's a Ravens. I mean, so Ravens. I feel like it's a language that we're you kind of speaking and building. Yeah, yeah.
And I
Um,
mean, I know Dave, you said you're working in stadium stuff. I mean, that's a whole other language. Like we've done a couple of stadiums in the US and it is exhausting and you don't when you it's great to see it at the end and come together and but that's a whole different world than like broadcasting graphics because it's I would say it's slightly more difficult.
Yeah, oh, look, it's once you get your head around the formats and stuff, it actually is quite, you know, it's just you learn the language, and then once you've got that, you build the systems to work towards that sort of outcome, and yeah, it then becomes more easy to do. But yeah, uh, the getting the reaction in game, like actually being there and watching it and getting the live reaction is the main reason we actually went that way was just seeing it live with a crowd is pretty awesome.
a moment.
It leans into entertainment because it's a show because they and when you're working on them they call it like the show because it is. At least here they it's wild.
Yeah.
All these like 1 billion pixels by 2
He
format.
knows.
Yeah, because it's just like yeah, because like I used to freelance and just for sports for a very long time. Because yeah, me and
I know we've
Phil
worked
actually
together.
we worked together, yeah, and like I was just the freelancer for sports graphics for a very long time, jumping in and out and stuff, and I loved it. Like it was amazing. But yeah, you do get like these random screen sizes that you're like, how the f am I going to even build this? Just like your brain needs to like reverse engineer itself sometimes, and you're like, okay, I can do a 4K version, but if they come back and ask me for this big long script for a stadium in the future, you kind of need to like future proof yourself before you actually even jump on the job. That's what I found anyway while doing it. So I always, for some reason, even when I worked in it, was like, I'll set up these safe margins and set up these safe zones before I even touch this thing. And then just get like stuff ready. Because if we crop edges or crop top and bottom, that's gonna open up a kind of whoop ass on me later. So I was like, okay, this is gonna, be hard. But it's such a, I don't think people realize how much there's so many layers to sports graphics as well. Because of course, like you have art, creative direction, art direction, and like also when you get the look and feel done, there's so many different outputs as well that you need to get done. And I don't think people understand that because there's just so much like transitions,
Yeah.
like all that kind of stuff. Lower thirds, whatever you're doing. But like there is a lot of layers to it, and
Yeah.
it's a beast. They're beasts of projects. So yeah, just a
The
lot.
deliverables list for when we rebranded NFL Network was like 720
Jeez.
different things. They were all toolkitted. So that's a whole nother thing with I mean, any graphics package is the toolkitting. And we've just become big experts on it. And we have a team that, I mean, some of these guys are toolkitting every single day because we're just doing so many of these. And that's you wanna finish strong, and that's always what's ending the project. So if you do a great job, but then they're like, well, this shit doesn't even work, that's how they're gonna remember you. So you got to make sure you put the exclamation point on the end of that. I'm sure Oliver knows all about that too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like it's funny because like you probably have this Phil course now. You come across like these experts, but it is a certain individual that enjoys toolkitting as well because it's a process. It's almost like someone's good at Excel and someone's good at animating stuff. It's kind of a split between being a creative and a systems person in a
Yeah.
way because it's there is expressions, there's a bit of coding in there involved too. So when I see someone that's like an expert toolkiter, it's like they're almost playing the piano. You're like, you are playing that jam, and I don't know how you're doing it, but it's great, and you're saving me a lot of time.
Yeah. There's funny that like the engineering piece. I think that the reality of live television is there's an engineering element you always have to play up to. You can't just deliver a QuickTime movie and someone hit play on a deck or whatever, be done with the thing. You're actually building a future element that has to be super dynamic, pulled up in the moment, has to work every time. There's some reality check there. Yeah. I have a feeling that like maybe that's some of the investment that we could learn is that the areas that are complicated are actually really good to lean into and be an expert in. And I'm sure you felt this way where you were choosing to not do certain projects. And I'm wondering if it kind of freaked you out to go like, if I keep going, if I go deep into this project and in this package, I'm gonna have to say no to something that's a little bit more simple. And that like, am I making the right choice as a business owner to become an expert in the field?
Yeah. I feel like when you're in it, you're not thinking about that. Or at least like for me,
Oh, did I just freak you out? You're like, now you talk about it, you're stressing.
it's like, I feel like a lot of people are this way when your fear is not having work. And even at freelancing and business owner, it's very similar. I mean, you're just always like, what's going to be next? Like, what's the next project? Is there going to be a next project? Like, I mean, as a freelancer, you're booked out, a week, a month, 2 months. Like, I feel like with the company, we're booked out maybe 2 months, maybe 5 months if we're lucky. Like, we have the exact same runway. So I feel like and then you have all these people with you, and it's a little scary until you kind of get used to it. I don't know how you teach people how to deal with that, Tim, but there's no like there's always like you gotta feed the machine somehow, and you'll kind of
my,
take
my
anything
impression
if
is
it
that some
comes
people
by.
could run thin and do something, but you have 700 deliverables to do in a 2 month period. So you have to have a heavy team during that period. And that accordion factor of shrinking and going, the bigger the team, the harder it is to kind of do that. Yeah.
Some of these projects take like 9 months. I mean, the CBS rebrand was like 2 years, so we got lucky on a couple of those to just like, oh, okay, we can kind of everyone can let their hair down and we can just now make the thing without having to go and feel like we have to do sales a ton. Because
Yeah.
right now we just don't do a ton of sales, which is obviously not great either, but we're like riding this sports wave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You're kind of like, you got on the right side of the vacuum and the vacuum's kind of keeping you in it for a while you're going.
yeah.
Hung, did you have a question?
Yeah, seeing the chat, I was just wondering, Phil, in your world, um, do you pretty much know from the get-go what you have to make for a client in 9 months? Or will it be, will the list grow midway, for resourcing and other factors?
It definitely always grows. I'll say if there's anything like sponsorship related, that always makes the very end of it crazy because you don't know who's selling, if it's Tide, if it's Google or whoever is like buying a moment. It's right up to the event. You're kind of scrambling. It can kind of be chill all the way through. But sometimes there's like the divide. I don't know how familiar you are with sport, like the versioning and all that, but like we'll develop mostly like toolkits to hand to the client, and then they'll figure out if they want to put it in Viz or Chiron for like that using that system to version. But if later on, sometimes we get to like, oh, can you version all the players, all the
Yeah.
teams? And that, like we did something for TNT where one deliverable was actually 1,200 deliverables. Uh, and that was like a late minute ask, like, okay, we want to do every player on every team for all these deliverables. So there was like seven of those. So it was like 7,000 renders. It was like a lot, like a heavy lift. But yeah, and then they add on, and if they like
Yeah.
stuff, they're like, maybe we'll do one more version here and there.
So like follow-up question is, do they ask you to do marketing assets as part of that too?
Usually when we get these projects, it's separated. So marketing and like on air. I think it's
Mhm.
also naturally because there's separate departments in most of these companies. Um, and I think depending on the network, like sometimes marketing looks very similar to the graphics
Mhm.
package or whatever you're developing, and sometimes it looks different. And it's usually just like their take on it. But a lot more often than not recently, we will midway through get connected with marketing and do all the promos, any TV commercials that need to happen. Like it kind of just like rolls in, but usually don't get that. We don't usually get that at the very beginning.
Yeah. But you guys did a great job with the ESPN splatter week, because we did the tail end of that for Disney Plus, and we know you guys did that
Oh,
package, and
okay.
it's really cool.
You're talking about the red explosion?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was a pain in the butt, man.
Yeah, we worked on a digital out of home campaigns for that.
Oh,
So
cool.
so we saw like, oh wow, yeah, thanks Too Fresh for creating
Yeah,
crazy bundles.
Yeah, it was a lot of long nights this summer for me.
Phil owes you a drink or something, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, did you have a
Can I
question?
tack on? Can
Oh,
I
good.
tack on a little bit to that question?
Of course.
Just
Yeah.
in terms of when you're talking like getting stuff to Chiron and Viz and that sort of thing, are you delivering them like pre-rendered assets, or are you have to build toolkits of like, like 3D assets that they're importing? Like where does your sort of like line in the sand kind of come between you guys and the networks?
So it varies definitely per project depending on who's on their side and what, how talented, how like in the weeds their Chiron or Viz operators are. But for a lot of the ones where we do all the insert, we'll have like one or two people basically available nonstop for 2 months to break apart like lower thirds, pre-render, send layers, guides, and it's kind of like a every day that we're talking with them to make sure they have everything perfect and we check it, they check it. The insert packages are like that's a whole nother thing versus like the graphics package because it's all built and coded into like other systems beyond like the broadcast. So those deliverables on their own are like 800. I think we said no to one because it was like 5,000 deliverables and we're like, no, we're not even going to bid on this because it's it's going to be a nightmare. But yeah, for like Viz, they bring in the 3D models and then we try to, as we get into that process, make anything that goes in Viz or Chiron feel as authentic as to the original design. So we might have to like rework some of the design to make it fit and function. But they can still do like UV stuff, which is always like our best friend in these packages, UV mapping. And then for yeah, expression and all those, it's just really like we have a team there. But sometimes they just take the toolkits and they're good. So it's kind of full range.
Cool, thanks.
Ryan, did you have a question too?
Yeah, I keep on going back to that Super Bowl commercial because I think you guys used Unreal in it or on it, and I or Super Bowl, what was it 58, I think? What was it like using Unreal, and have you guys used it since then, or like it's very interesting because I feel like every year it's always this is the year we're all going to start using Unreal, and then like the year goes by and it's next year and then next year.
You're talking about Vegas when we
Yeah,
built
yeah.
Vegas?
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. So that one we had never used Unreal before, but CBS asked us to build like Vegas so that they could make, and it wasn't going to be real time. It was kind of like you can make things quicker and you can move the camera down, and we had like live traffic that was functioning. It was all coded so the traffic would stop and everything. But we built sponsorship into Vegas so that for Geico, you could quickly say, okay, we want to make 7 of those, or we want to make 18 Pizza Huts, and there's 2 Pizza Huts in town. And uh, that process was, it took forever to build that. I would say months and months. And we had a really good partnership with Epic. So every week we did a call with their like dev team at Epic, and we asked them questions. They would take a file, they would help us. Um, so it was really cool because we were learning directly from the source. Um, but then after that, we've done some like virtual sets in Unreal, just conversions. But beyond that, like it is just so hard for us and probably a lot of other people who are in cinema to convert into that. And every time we bring someone in, it's like you're either a motion graphics artist like who can dabble, or you have like the people who are like gaming, and then they have to either way, like they have to meet in the middle somewhere to figure it out. And it's just it's hard. And also working remotely, these files are just ginormous. And I know now there's ways to work together remotely, but we haven't really been using it that much. We're not afraid to use it, but after that project was crazy. It was cool though. You could have like the controller and you could like walk your dude down your like city that you had made. It was so cool.
It's very cool. I feel like, but there's not like tons of clients knocking down your door now that you're like, we did an Unreal job. We're ready for you.
We actually just don't tell people.
Nice.
But like, because technically, I feel like Unreal is better for like AR and stuff.
Yeah.
Like as of right now, the use that we used it for was a little bit odd, I think.
Hmm.
Like, but like building that city in cinema would have been an absolute nightmare. Like, I
Right.
don't even, it's not possible, I don't
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
Cool. Thank you.
it is a different beast though, because like Unreal, of course, it's real-time rendering. You can use it for 8K screens and it renders in, no time, which is brilliant, which is great. But it is a different beast, like like building a toolkit in Unreal compared to something in After Effects or something like that. It's like reinventing the wheel right now because it's a different process. It's a game engine. It's not a motion graphics engine, even though they're trying to push it for that. It is like learning something new. But like anything new, it's gonna have hitches. You have to figure it out. But yeah, no, I love the stuff that you guys did for the Super Bowl stuff. It looks
I
awesome.
loved the After Effects projects that we render into. It was like just levels. I was like, that was
Yeah,
it. Like, oh my
that's
Awesome.
God.
it, isn't it? Yeah, it's the different it's the different terminologies, isn't it? Like levels and sequencers and
But
blueprints, and you're
like,
like, why can't this be a pre-comp? Why can't this be an expression? And then you're just like, oh, I have to learn this new language that is blowing my mind up right now. But you just want to do it. But yeah, it is. We're doing a lot of stuff in Unreal for show packages, and it's great. But trying to explain that to someone that's like a sole motion designer that comes from motion design world, it's like, you kind of need to be kind of into video games in a way. It's like it's like you said, a level. If someone's into video game and sports, it's hard to explain that to them because they're like, what's a level in a way? And it's tricky.
But do you see with Unreal, like now with that stuff that Capacity did, just as that demo, they did a demo of making actually a full graphics package in Unreal. Would there be a foreseeable future? Probably not with the legacy networks, but for something new and upcoming, creating that graphics package in Unreal and then doing all the inserts, all of, the additional stats, all of that, all in one package using the same creative. Is there a future there?
did they just release that recently?
Yeah, in the last couple month or so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
capacity, yeah.
we also bid on that project, but it just seemed really hard. So we didn't like go any further. Yeah, I think there's room for that. Do I think people are going to probably use it like networks? They're they're kind of, I don't know. I think if that's gonna work, somebody new is gonna have to grab it and try it because I think with CBS and ESPN, these are just massive machines and broadcasting is very touchy, I feel like. And if you add that in and something goes wrong, you can't make a lot of mistakes. So I want it to work, and I feel like Unreal and Insert might be like a cool way to like start. But yeah, I personally want it because I'm a big fan of like the like just Epic and Unreal and all, like just that whole company. I feel like there's a lot, whatever they're gonna do next. I mean, there's something there that's gonna be big. Um,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I'm gonna look that up though. Thanks, Dave.
Last year when we were in Milan at DDD, that one of the speakers that we had come to our little small group was definitely talking about just the new platform kind of experience of what Unreal does and how you can interact with it and how people will consume entertainment. Like there's no reason why are we using gaming consoles to play Netflix? Why aren't we using gaming consoles to be a totally different entertainment experience and go through the gaming engine?
I feel like Netflix is gonna be the one. Netflix just announced, I think it was yesterday or today, that Netflix and Disney Plus both are trying to put more real-time gaming just natively into their interfaces. They've
Mm,
done gaming efforts, but it's like, oh, if you want to do Netflix on mobile, but if you're playing Netflix through an Xbox, they want it to basically feel probably more like the Xbox interface and less just like a static environment.
that's
I
cool.
posted the link for the capacity Unreal thing
Oh,
too.
thanks, Ryan. Yeah, I
And it
saved
was
it.
just like 7 days ago.
Yeah, I think
Um,
the EA just recently went through or going through an acquisition process. Really interesting. It's like Ashton Kutcher and some Saudi firm or whatever buying it, and it's really just this thought of like it's a cash flow system about ready to
Yeah.
pop up.
I mean,
Yeah,
It's
that Netflix.
really like it's basically stealing what cable television used to do, like make its own network, and you can interact through it. Really interesting to see how that plays itself out.
it's going to just be a way to shorten the distance between you on your couch going to Amazon on your phone while you're watching TV. It'll just be that it'll finally be that like, oh, I want to buy that jersey. Oh, you
Yeah,
just grab your controller and just do it, and it's all in
you're
real
in it.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that Netflix stuff. We actually were part of that team. Now we can actually say that today because it got released.
Nice.
So yeah, we actually one of the games that are coming out in next end of this month. We were part of the Netflix team that released one of those games. So they're getting rid of controllers totally and just using their phones. You scan party games. So we're actually one of the games coming out. We did the motion graphics for, so we were working
Nice.
directly with them.
that's
All real time stuff, which is cool. But challenges that I could talk for days on that. But it's gonna be really fun to see some stuff we worked on come out in that. But yeah, it's really fun.
I wish I had insights into all you guys' investments, and then I would know which projects you're working on. Of like when Ollie's doubling down on his Netflix shares because he knows what he just
I
released.
wish. Oh, give me all
that
day.
insider trading.
I wouldn't be in this guy. I'd be in Bahamas or something. That'd be having a great time.
Started channel
Tim,
of
you could be the
like
Nancy
projects you should
Pelosi.
invest in. And we're not telling you I'm working on the projects. I'm saying you should invest in these companies.
Yeah, you'd be the Nancy Pelosi of the motion design industry. You're just curiously somehow just ahead of
Exactly.
the market by
Exactly.
400%.
I just pop up once in a while, like, why is this guy here? Why is he? Oh, everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Looks like some genius. Phil, this has been great. I don't want to hold you back from your vacation anymore, but I appreciate you kind of jumping in and keeping this conversation going. It's interesting because there's so much in the traditional space that we talk about, but the niche space of sports, what it really means, and I very honestly believe it's teaching us a future that's going to be more and more part of entertainment. So just to hear your experiences and know that you're in it, we want to be rooting for you. So we appreciate you being here.
Guys, I mean, it's going to grow. If everyone in here is going to be doing something for sports at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's fun, I promise.
So give us your name and number, Phil, because we're going to need that work. And as you're passing off work that you can't say yes to, we all of us want to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want that 5,000 deliverables. That sounds
Yeah, you can have it, man. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. This is fun.
Yeah, it's great to see you. And we'll see you when we get back from LA. But have a great time down in Cabo. Enjoy your time down there, and we'll see you around. And thanks,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thanks.
We'll see you guys next week.
Maybe I'll see you at the gym,
Yes.
Oliver.
Oh, I'd see you definitely. I know I need to get back there. I'm sorry. I haven't been
Yeah, me too.
See you soon, man. See ya.
See you guys.
Later, guys.